On Instagram yesterday that the way to open up a conversation when you're trying to get to know somebody isn't like, hey, what do you do for a living? How are you feeling? It's what are you excited about? Because the positive emotions of what you're about to tell them are associated with the experience and they'll remember it connected to you.
I love that, and it makes total sense.
Yeah, kind of psychological right there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys the question. Kristen, what are you excited about right now?
My baby boy turns 4 on Saturday.
Oh, is it a bittersweet kind of thing?
It is.
Yeah.
It's complete. Yeah, it's bittersweet. I'm excited. We're having this big old party because we didn't do a party last year because we took the kid to Disney. That was enough. And so that was the part. Mickey was the party. But I asked him, now that he's older, I gave him options. I'm like, do you want this? Do you want this? Or do you want the aquarium? And he chose Georgia Aquarium. So he loves, we're members. He loves it. He loves underwater sea creatures, as he calls them. And so, yeah, this Saturday, we're just having a big bash at the Georgia Aquarium. And that's the day of his actual birthday as well. So my baby boy's turning 4. He's getting so old.
He's not a baby. We were on a Zoom call yesterday.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was playing in the background. And at first, he was getting off of a bike, but you have a neighborhood kid that shows up all the time also.
Yeah, Riley.
Riley, right? So at first, I thought it was Riley because Riley is a little bit older than Jimmy.
Oh, no, that's Luca next door.
Luca. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I saw Jimmy get off the bike and I saw his face. And it's funny when your kids are growing up, at some point they turn from like toddlers into little boys.
Yeah.
And I looked at him like, oh my God, he's a boy now.
He's a little boy,
Yeah.
which I told Bert, I go, shut your dirty mouth. So that's my big excitement this
That's
week.
a pretty big one. Mo, what are you excited about right now?
Seeing my family.
Yeah.
Although I'll see pretty much everyone this weekend, which doesn't happen often. Although not for the best of reasons, I'm still excited to be around the family, see my mom, see my sisters, my dad. It's been a while, so I'm happy that we'll all be in the same place for a little bit to share each other's energy.
Those hugs hit different.
They do. They very much do. I need it right now.
Abby.
This is so typical for a 27-year-old, but I can't wait to go to the bar this weekend. I mean, I was talking to Rebecca, and it's so funny. We're kind of in this same phase of life where we're both like, oh my God, this is the skinniest we've both been since college. Isn't going out so much more fun when you feel good about yourself? And I was like, yes, you get so much more attention. So I'm like excited to go to the bar and have a couple of glasses of wine and flirt.
So that sounds solid. Kristen and I are going to hang out backstage and meet Andy Grammer tonight with one of our Bittersweet Adventure kids.
Yeah, that's exciting too.
That's exciting. Yeah, as soon as I opened up my calendar this morning, there are 2 things that'll make me really happy. One, when it says no scheduled events. That's awesome because that's a free day. But then this one came up and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be really cool for our Bittersweet Adventure kid. And we'll explain this a little bit later on today, but he's attached to Andy Grammer big time. So we're going backstage before the Andy Grammer show tonight and hanging out.
Oh, his mom, because of what she did when he would go through these episodes. I have a sneaking suspicion that mom may get a little bit teary when she meets Andy Grammer.
It's gonna be tears tonight.
It's gonna be happy tears.
Yes. All right. So you were talking about this upcoming weekend, but last weekend you were in Tampa, and there are some that say you can never go home.
Yeah, something I'm not usually excited about is going back to Tampa, Florida. And my mom gets really frustrated anytime she hears me talk about this on the radio. Because anytime I say I hate Tampa, all she hears is, I hate my family. I don't want to see anybody that I'm related to. And it really has nothing to do with my family and everything to do with the experience of going to Tampa, Florida. Like from start to finish, it is an uncomfortable experience to where I have had to make a list of expectations so that when I go into a weekend or a week of going back to Tampa, I'm not let down because I just know it's going to be bad from start to finish.
So this is so foreign to me because I'm from San Diego and I absolutely love, there's peace that comes over me when I'm going back to my hometown, which is just the opposite for you. So is it the city itself? It's just like it's boring. You think it's trashy. Is it attached to like high school memories? What is it about the city you hate so much?
Well, the thing is I'm not from Tampa. So anytime I've gone to Tampa, it's been for some kind of event. I'm from a city called Jacksonville, and I don't mind going back to Jacksonville. I mean, it's kind of weird going back home now, but going to Tampa, it is like the peak Florida man experience. And the problem is a lot of my family is from Florida. So a lot of these experiences with Floridians Floridians are with my family. And so I usually have about 5 things that I know are going to happen to me when I go to Tampa. And once I brace myself for it, then I can just accept it as a part of the experience. And hopefully I can stop this hate relationship with Tampa and we can just tolerate each other at some point.
And you're allowed to hate on Floridians because you are one.
Because I am one. Yes, I'm from Florida, so I'm allowed to hate on them a little bit. And so the first thing that I know is going to happen is I know we're going to go out to lunch one day, and I know we're going to be walking around, and I know they're going to bring up something crazy like a conspiracy theory. So, for example, my family and I were bopping around at this part of Tampa called Davis Island, which is kind of the Richie part of Tampa. It's where like Gronk lived when he lived there. It's where Brady lived when he lived there. So we're like going to get coffee. And I have this uncle who currently doesn't live in Florida, but definitely a Florida man nonetheless. And we're walking to get coffee, and in like the loudest tone possible, he's like, Abby, did you know that like we never really landed on the moon? And I'm kind of like, okay, here we are. Like, typically we're getting into like political conspiracy theories. Thank God it's just something kind of neutral. And he's going into like this rampage about how we never really landed on the moon. And I'm like, Uncle Chris, like it is 7 a.m. It is 7 a.m. Like, I don't have time to defend like NASA and the entire Space Center and how we actually did make it to the moon. And maybe we did. I know it is a very popular conspiracy theory, but at that time I'm like, I don't have the mental capacity to fight with you right now.
I love that the last time I stepped foot in Florida, I was sitting at a bar and a guy busted out a conspiracy theory that the government controlled the weather.
Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So this tracks. This
Florida.
totally tracks.
We got into that too, but I don't have the mental strength to get into it. And then I know they're going to embarrass me in public. So we ended up getting lunch at a Mexican restaurant. And so we're sitting down. He's got a Corona. My mom and I are getting some chips and salsa. And my family is the type of Florida man that because they're from South Florida, they think they can speak Spanish to the waiter and it's not going to be uncomfortable. And so I'm sitting there like, asking for my fajitas or whatever, asking for my Diet Coke. And then my Uncle Chris goes, por favor, mi amor. I'm like, what? Please stop. Like, we are the whitest people in this place. Like the fact that you're trying to like make conversation in Spanish, like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
I'll tell you where that'll stop the day that he does that and somebody turns around and goes, I don't speak Spanish. And he's assuming that the person does, which makes a totally different statement.
I know. I'm like, we're looking like the worst kinds of Floridians right now. I know that Publix is going to be involved for most meals. So if we're not at a Mexican restaurant, like I know that we're going to have to go to Publix for any kind of meal that's not at a sit-down restaurant. I also know that once I go down to Tampa, somebody's going to casually drop some kind of like life-altering news, just like at brunch. So I'm hanging out with my brother and his girlfriend and my mom and like the rest of my family. And we're just hanging out at this table. And then all of a sudden my brother just like casually drops that he's proposing. And I'm like, wait. Like this is big news. And this is just happening over eggs hollandaise. Like what's happening? Like, can we get details? Like, what's the timeline? He's like, yeah, just doing it this summer.
I feel like your brother's definitely the me in your family.
Yeah.
That's something I would do.
And he's like, by the way, I'm going to Dubai too. And the last thing that I know is going to happen when I go to Tampa, Florida, is that I'm going to have an absolutely heinous interaction with a man. And I know we're talking about that later, so I won't tell you what happened.
Okay.
But let's just say my mom almost got us kicked out of a hotel bar because someone made a comment about Atlanta that she did not agree with.
Oh, okay. And it was enough to like almost get in fights about?
Oh, yeah. She said, I'm going to kill somebody.
Oh, okay.
Beyond fight.
All right.
Beyond other obscenities that she really got into it for Atlanta.
That's a good tease for later on today. Okay, to take a good hard look at myself last night. After about 30 seconds in, I said to myself, what are you even doing, man? Who are you? And I'm proud of myself because it was a true sign of maturity. Remember yesterday we were saying that there are just some signs that you're getting older and you sort of kind of have to embrace them, right? So last night I'm going to crash, I'm going to sleep, right? And I'm just going to open up my book in a couple of minutes, but I wanted to wind down. So I'm scrolling through TV shows. What can I watch that's mindless, that won't get me excited or anything? And I had a knee-jerk reaction when I saw the thumbnail come up for Temptation Island.
Oh my God.
Which I used to watch all the time and loved it. And I'm like, okay, this will do it. So I turned Temptation Island on, and within 45 seconds, I'm like, what am I doing? Who am I? And this is the dumbest show on earth. So the premise is we are going to test our shaky relationship by going onto an island, and you're going to be in a villa with 12 other hotties that are going to be coming on to you the entire week. And if you can somehow, some way not hook up and be tempted, then I know our relationship is going to be stronger. And I'm 30 seconds into it, and I'm like, this is unwatchable.
The way that I see it, it's these couples who know they're going to break up and who are going to break up at some point, but they're like, we might as well get some internet clout out of it and maybe hook up with some baddies.
I think it's like 4 different versions of that show, but I know there's a guy named Montana that went viral on one of them because apparently his girlfriend was in the room doing something with another guy, and they showed it to him on an iPad, and he was running down the beach crying, throwing his clothes off and stuff. It was insane.
Wasn't an iPad. They had a big screen TV on the beach. Yes, because I think this was Italy's version or whatever.
There's one of them, yeah.
It was Italy's version because they were speaking Italian, and there's this giant TV, and he's sitting there watching it, and in walks his girlfriend with another man, and then they start like, yes, and he's on his knees just
on the beach. I'm like, what is going on in this show?
The way they edited this, like the faster they went, the faster he ran to get to the villa. So he's like, and they're like, boop, boop, boop. He's like, they're like, boop, boop, boop. And then he gets to the villa, and it's like Illy's version of Rocky, and he's like, Adrian!
Come outside now. Stop it, you two.
And then this host is a woman, and she's like impeccably dressed, and she's chasing down the beach after him, and she's like, stop. It was that
crazy.
Never watched that show, but I know the exact clip because it went so viral, and I had to I hunted down to see the actual footage from the show because they showed everything that was happening in that room.
They almost had me because when I looked it up, I was about to kick play, and I was like, man, get it together, Mo. What are you doing?
It's the time you can never have back, man.
Yeah,
never
man.
have back. All right, so your dude meets like this great lady. Everything is going fine. And in just one instance, it goes sideways quickly.
Yeah, I think he blew it. He blew it, and he blew it bad, and he didn't mean to do it. And he's kind of innocent in it, but I don't think she's ever going to see it that way because of the way that it panned out. And it was just one mistake, but I think it's over. So they met about, I would say, 6 months ago, and it's for the first 3 months he was like pursuing her. He was courting her, and she was slowly but surely warming up to him. And it just so seems like at the time now, she finally starts warming up to him. They go on a couple of dates, and then he has like a get together. And I'm there, he's there, she's there with some friends. Everybody is just hanging out, having a good time. And I was taken aback because I'm like, I've never seen him with this kind of energy for somebody. So it was exciting. It was like, wow, you really like her. And he's like, yeah, everything's going so well, da-da-da-da. So what ends up happening is after the gathering that we had, everybody goes home, everybody leaves. And he calls me the next day, and he's like, bro, I think I blew it. I made a mistake. So I said, what could you possibly have done in the last 24 hours? Everything seemed so great. And he said that for whatever reason, he found like a nail. A nail broke off, I guess. And
like an acrylic?
fingernail.
like a fingernail.
Wow.
Right. It was like a piece of a fingernail that clearly belonged to a woman. And so I kind of feel like bad for it because I was giving him some heat for not cleaning up his place efficiently. I was like, yo, bro, come on, man. Like you got company coming over. You got ladies coming over. Clean up around here. So I started trying to help him clean up. Like I'm doing to him what my mother and grandmother do to me. And I think I shamed him a little bit. So he starts really cleaning up his place after we all leave. He was like, yeah, you ain't gonna talk to me like that no more. I'm gonna get it right. And in doing so, he finds this nail. So he asked me what he should do. And I told him, don't do anything. If somebody comes to if somebody needs it, they'll come back and ask for it.
Ain't nobody gonna come back to claim a acrylic nail, are they?
So then-
I don't know. Those things are expensive.
And this is not dude speak. We don't know.
Right. So my thing is, if no one asks for it, throw it out, let it go. But he wanted to reach out to ask who it belonged to.
Why?
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Is he an idiot?
Yes. Actually, yes. A lot lot of the time.
I think it was a rhetorical question.
Yes, it was. We knew the answer.
So anyway, he asked. He sends it to her, and he's like, "Hey, Did a piece of your nail break off?
What is the matter with your dude?
Oh my God.
Is he also sending a picture?
Yeah, he sent the picture.
Okay, see.
He sent the picture, and she was like, I don't have nails.
Yeah.
But then she said, well, maybe it's my friend's, because she came with a friend. And then she asked the friend. Friend was like, nope, not my nails.
Oh, no.
So now you got to explain where the nail came from. Now, the nail could have come from anywhere. The thing is, the dude hasn't cleaned his house in a year. So, I mean, the nail, it really could have been from anywhere, anytime, anybody. But of course, she's not going to believe that. In her mind, that's you had another woman in the house.
And also, depending on what the nail looked like, this is this is the woman brain. Just those wheels are just. I look at that nail. Depending on what the nail looked like, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's the type of woman that you're hanging out
Really?
with. I want no
you
part
gonna
of that.
judge off the little piece of the nail.
How long the acrylic is?
Yes.
Does it have little stickers on it? Is there glitter?
Is it almond or coffin?
Oh, yeah. What's the shape? How much glitter is on it?
Is it bedazzled?
Is it bedazzled?
Yeah.
Does it have rhinestones on
You
it?
can tell a diet. You can just keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at that nail and be like, then no, we're not compatible.
You can tell what her sign is, how much money she has in the bank,
Social security
what kind of
number.
car she
You can
drives.
check under the nails where she been.
I want to reward you guys that listen live to radio this early in the morning, man. How about calling now, 1-855-BERT Show. I've got $100. You're just going to have to earn it a little bit. We're going to play Lose Bert's Money. I will give you a very superficial trivia question. 3 of you guys will go on the line here. And each time you get an incorrect answer on this trivia question, I'll take $10 off, but it does give you a chance to win $100. So why don't you call now, start lining up, 1-855-BERT Show, and we will play Lose Bert's Money here in just a couple of seconds.
Who thinks they're a genius at bracketology? Well, if you think you could get all the teams right, we want you to go up against Abby's cat in Meow Madness. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Technically, you don't have to be a genius. My cat Betty still thinks that cardboard is an acceptable snack. So if you can beat that kind of intelligence, you're probably fine.
I'm just curious. So Rebecca, Katie, and I did the beginning there. Is it possible for you to figure out, do you know what we're singing in the beginning?
No.
I had no idea.
No.
Okay, try playing it one more time, Katie. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
No idea.
Dang it.
Is
No
it like
idea.
an ESPN thing? Like a
Okay, ready? What do they play at the very end of the tournament?
One shining moment.
Meow, 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 meow. You are the one.
Definitely not. Not at all.
That's gonna need some work.
Yeah, that moment is not shining.
If you asked us if we knew exactly what it was, your answer that was the answer to your question.
Okay, yeah, all
Yeah.
right. Anyway, so if your husband is all about the tournament and brackets and thinks he is just a genius when it comes to figuring out who's going to win the tourney, we're looking for you, all right? Now, there could be something in this for you and there could be something in this for him. Maybe you guys have been butting heads about something to spend money on in the house. You have something you want. He has something he wants. Well, let's have some fun with it and have him go up against Abby's cat, Betty, in Meow Madness, man versus cat.
See, the premise here is that those that don't know anything about basketball will do better than those that overanalyze each and every game. Most of these dudes have seen 6 games all season long, and all of a sudden, they know that St. Francis is going to beat Vandy. They have no idea. They have no idea at all.
So go to thebertshow.com. There's like a really simple form to fill out, and you guys can finally get, what you've been wanting. Depends on who wins the bracket challenge. If your husband wins and beats Abby's cat, well, then he gets what he wants. But if Abby's cat beats your husband, you get what you want.
And pride.
How is your cat going to pick these games?
So we're going to do a thing where like you crumple up 2 pieces of paper. So we're going to put the 2 competing teams that are going up against each other and you drop them in front of the cat and the cat just follows its little instincts and picks one of the pieces of paper by like sniffing it or putting it in its mouth. And that's how they decide on who's going to win that game.
Okay.
Yeah, this was actually a viral trend on social media, not with brackets, but the cats were deciding their gender,
Their pronouns, their religion.
their political affiliation.
We actually did this
Wow.
with Betty at my cat shower that we did a month ago. Betty turns out is a he/him
Yep.
Christian, and I can't remember what else. Rebecca remembers.
So essentially, if your dude can pick games and do better than Abby's cat, he gets whatever he wants.
Yeah, Betty
right?
doesn't even know the outside world exists, so you probably have a good chance beating her.
Should be easy.
We're going to need to pick this guy like today, though, because the tournament officially starts tomorrow. I think they were playing games last night.
They were playing the fill-in games, yep.
Yeah, like South Alabama won, and I know San Diego State, school I went to, lost big time to North Carolina. So now we're down to 64.
I think so, yep.
All right, so have him hit us up at thebertshow.com. All right, who wants to lose Bert's money? I'm going to get 3 of you guys on the line. Here is your superficial trivia question. Are you guys ready? And with each and every incorrect guess, I'm taking $10 away. People who work in this profession are 27% less likely to wear underwear.
Fascinating.
27%.
27% of people that work in this profession are less likely to wear underwear. Okay?
That is it. Where do you find these?
And who's fessing up to that?
Yeah, who did the research?
Why is this? Is this where our research funding is going towards? Is this what Harvard is doing in its off days?
This is why Doge was formed right here. This is the research that the government is doing. All right, good morning, Samantha. You are on the Bert Show. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right, represent your city. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Canton.
Canton. All right. Samantha from Canton. Here we go. People who work in this profession are 27% less likely to wear underwear.
Doctors?
Doctors.
Huh?
What would be the reasoning behind doctors?
I don't know.
Because they know the anatomy.
Fair
Things gotta breathe.
Okay, fair enough. Not the correct answer. All right, so now we're going to move down to...
Oh, no.
She was like, I was told I have to give an answer, and I gave an answer. Stop grilling me,
You didn't
man.
say it had to be in a complete sentence.
She was almost like annoyed. Like, I don't know. I gave you what you want. I gave you an answer.
What more do you want?
Dina, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm always a little curious where you guys are calling in from.
Well, right now I'm in Goose Creek, dropping off my grandson.
Okay.
You're in what creek?
Goose Creek?
Goose Creek.
It's in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she said something else.
What do you think she said?
I'll tell you later.
I know what you think she said.
All right, Dina. People who work in this profession, 27% less likely to wear underwear.
Bartenders?
That's a good answer.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure why we all agree with you, but it makes sense.
It just kind of makes sense.
It does make sense.
Of course, bartenders don't wear underwear. It makes perfect sense. No, not the answer. But hang in there. All right, Lori, good morning. Where are you calling us from?
Gainesville.
From Gainesville. Okay, we've always done very well in Gainesville. Thank you for listening there. All right, Lori, what's the answer here? 27% less likely to wear underwear in this profession. Which one is it?
For $80.
Lawyers.
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 Oh.
Why lawyers?
Because I dated one and he didn't wear underwear.
You dated a lawyer, and every time you went into work, didn't wear underwear.
I don't know if he wore it to work. I just know he didn't wear it all the time.
Well, you had an unfair advantage because you're right.
No!
It was lawyers.
No way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Really?
The truth. And here's the proof right here.
Wow. That's wild.
Coming with the evidence to support the theory.
Yep.
$80, Lori. Congrats.
Oh, well, thank you. So I actually won. Okay, oh my God.
Yeah, congratulations.
Buy your ex some underwear with that money.
And that buys a lot of tacos at El Sam in Gainesville. So enjoy, and thank you for listening to The Bert Show. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's so random.
That is random.
Right? Abby's mom threatened somebody with their life over the weekend. We will get to that in a second. And then we got to get Lexi on here, who is very, very confused on why there has been no second date after she had a great first date with a dude. We reached out to the guy and we found out why with the second date update. But first, okay, whose life was threatened?
Oh my God. Several men at the Tampa Edition hotel bar in Tampa this weekend. My mom nearly got us kicked out of this hotel bar because she was so appalled at how we were treated by this group of guys out one night in Tampa. And it's so funny because I feel like it was the loss of my mom's innocence because for me, none of their behavior was shocking. Like if you've been out in the world and you've had to deal with men who don't have frontal lobes developed yet, you are used to sometimes getting treated not great, and it's not shocking. But for my mom, she got a little bit of a rude awakening.
I'm guessing that when your mom was out on the scene, I don't know how long ago that was, that there was just a different sort of dating dance than there is now.
Yeah, there was decorum. What happened to decorum? What happened to behaving ourselves? And so my mom got so riled up that management had to ask her to sit down, which I kind of took as a badge of honor. I was like, that's my mom.
Dang, okay.
But just to kind of paint the picture as to how furious she was, these are some of the texts that she sent in our family group chat after this went down. She said, "You cannot even believe what I have just witnessed with these guys with Abby. I'm about to kill somebody."
Oh my God.
And then my brother's girlfriend goes, "Oh no, what happened?" And my mom said, "I'm telling you, the group of a-holes that we encountered is beyond anything I've ever experienced of all the nights that Abby and I have been out together. I'm literally about to go back into this hotel and kill somebody."
Twice.
She's not playing.
Now we got witnesses.
I'm like, now this, I feel like an accomplice. And everyone's like, "What's going on?" And I literally text back, I'm like, "Nothing surprising. Like, I've gone through this a million times, but my mom is now getting a front row seat to everything that I've experienced with guys, but specifically guys in Tampa." Now, I want to make it very clear, because my family's from Tampa, this to me is not like a local Tampa thing. I think Tampa attracts a certain type of man to transplant there that is just the worst type of Miami reject possible. These are the guys that weren't Hispanic enough to feel like they could fit in Miami, so they go to Tampa because it's still a cool big city in Florida, no state income tax. They usually come from like Villanova or whatever, and they think that wearing a Hawaiian shirt out to Soho Saloon is a personality trait.
I'm curious if, like, when you drive into Tampa, you know how they have the sign for the city and it's like Tampa, population, blah, blah, blah. And then underneath that, it just puts Miami's rejects.
Right. It's the minor league city
Minor league,
for
yeah.
Miami.
That's what they should.
It's the kind of Miami is the kind of place where if they're there, if there's a velvet rope, they know I'm just not getting in there.
Oh, yeah,
I might as well go to Tampa.
They have Miami egos, but they're in Tampa. It's just a different vibe. And I've said this over and over to my mom before. I'm like, "Listen, like, I know you want me to find Mr. Right in Tampa so that he wifes me up and makes me move to Tampa, but I'm telling you, this is the worst place, unless he is from Tampa. That is the exception. This is not the place to find a man." And I will explain to you Exhibit Z, because now this is the 26th time this has happened to me while I'm out in Tampa. We were at this hotel bar. It's at this new hotel called the Tampa Edition. And if you know anything about like chain hotels, this is like very chic and modern. It is kind of giving like South Beach. You walk in and it's crisp and white, and there's mood lighting and palm trees that hit you in the face as you walk in, because they want to act like, you know, it's a mysterious kind of hotel bar area.
It feels like a W.
Yeah.
It's like a W hotel?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So you walk in and, you know, it's very cool and hip, and you can tell like this is the place to be seen. You don't go to the Tampa Edition unless you want someone to look you up and down and be like, that is a cool, stylish, fashionable person.
So it's like a boutique hotel that has created a hip spot for people to hang.
Very much so. So we sit down at this hotel bar. Me and my mom are having a glass of Prosecco. We're enjoying ourselves. And there's a group of guys who had clearly been out all day for St. Patrick's Day, because they're wearing their green beads and they look like they're probably about 24, 25. So I'd kind of clock them, but like I'm pushing 28. So I'm not thinking like these are any kind of prospective men or whatever. So we sit down. And all of a sudden, I guess they felt bold enough to approach me and my mom. And the first thing they say to me is, "When are you graduating college?" And I go, "Oh my God." Like, they think I'm young. They think I'm like age appropriate. I like laugh in their face. I'm like, "No, like I'm literally like, going to be 28 this year." And so we start talking. We're having this conversation, and I can just tell that these guys are a-holes. Like, I think these are just 25-year-old D-bags, but I'm getting attention, and my mom is loving this because she's like, "Oh my God, look at my daughter getting attention." So we're eating it up.
Did these look like the mustached dudes in San Diego that were hitting on you? That kind of hip, or a different hip?
No, Tampa is like a pretty boy kind of hip.
Okay.
We said the hotel was hip. We did not say these guys were hip.
These guys were like frat bros from like a liberal arts college in, you know, the East Coast. Like that's the vibe that they're giving. Very clean cut. They still kind of had that boyish look to them. Like I can tell that they've only been out of college for a little bit.
They haven't lost the baby fat yet.
They haven't lost the baby fat yet. I'm like, you guys are too young for me. Like I need you to look like you've been hit in the face a couple of times by life for me to pay attention to you. And we're having this conversation, and all of a sudden the guy in the group who is clearly the drunkest out of everybody asked me where I'm from, and I go, "Oh, well, I'm visiting my family here in Tampa from Atlanta." and this is where stuff got real. He looks at me and he goes, Atlanta's like kind of ghetto. And I go, I look at him and I'm flabbergasted. I look at him and I go, you and I both know that's like really racist. And I'm waiting for him to backtrack. And he just digs his heels in and just talks about how trashy Atlanta is and how every time he goes to Atlanta, he feels like he's going to get shot. And I'm just sitting there and like every socially conscious white woman has this gear in her head. It's like park, reverse, neutral, low, and drive. And then at the very bottom, it's white savior complex. And mine went. And I'm just standing there like my face is like progressively getting redder and I'm like, I can't sit in this conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm like so uncomfortable. And so my mom stands up and she's like wagging her finger at him like, you've never even been to Atlanta. Like, how dare you say that? Atlanta's so nice. Have you ever been there? And so she's just standing up and getting riled up and management is coming over. I'm like, okay, mom, sit down. And so we eventually get escorted away from these guys and half of the group ends up leaving. Thank God the worst of them leave. And then the other half stay and they decide to come sit with me and my mom. And my mom hasn't clocked that they were still a part of the group. And I can tell by the glimmer in these guys' eyes that we're a bit to them. Like this is like a MILF and that girl who looks like she's in college, but not in college. And they sit down. And at this point, I'm like, whatever, like this is entertainment. We're about to go meet my family out at Davis Island again. And they're still talking to us. And this is when my mom really got set up because she's already mad about the whole Atlanta comment. And she's already mad that she's been told to sit down. And the guy that was sitting next to me that I was having a conversation with, like mid-convo, just stands up and goes to talk to some other girl at the bar. And my mom, her mouth goes, and she just watches this man reject me, essentially, to go talk to some other B. And she looks at his friend and is like, is that what you guys do? You guys just move on when you get a little bored by the girl you're talking to at the bar? And at this point, I'm calling the Uber. I'm like, we got to get out of here. Like, this is just classic D-bag behavior. Like, I'm so uncomfortable sitting here watching my mom get angry at these men. And I knew this was going to happen. I could see that we were just a bit in their eyes. And all of a sudden, my mom just stands up. We walk out. We go to the Uber. She becomes the keyboard warrior in the group chat. And I look at her and I go, I warned you. Don't say I didn't tell you, Carrie.
It hurt. Now she knows what you have to go through on a day-to-day, man.
Tampa men are the worst.
I think it's awesome that she stood up for you like that.
Oh,
though.
yeah. We had to stand up for Atlanta, too.
She stood for the whole city.
It's funny.
Right?
It's funny. I ain't defending Tampa like that, but she'll defend Atlanta for me.
All right, Lexi here is confused. We have said this before. There's like nothing worse than getting ghosted. It's just so easy just to send a text and go, hey, somehow, some way, not feeling it, but do it in a nice way. Everybody knows. At least you know, right? So Lexi here has a great first date, and this dude never hits her back. She has no idea why.
Oh, she has a theory.
She does have a theory?
She has a theory as to why, but she wants to explain it to him.
So we reached out to the guy to find out exactly why, and we'll give her some answers here in a second. Hey, Lexi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, Lexi, what happened? You got ghosted. What happened?
Yeah. Well, I need your help figuring out why this guy ghosted me. We went on a first date and it was amazing. Great conversation, lots of laughs, definite chemistry. He even said he'd reach out for a second date, but poof, gone. No text, no call, no nothing. And it's been over a week. So I thought at first maybe he got busy, lost interest, but then I had a horrifying realization. What if he Googled me and found my mugshot?
I could do it.
Okay.
That would do it.
Okay. Mo and Bert, after a first date, I know women do all the Googling prior to the first date. So we basically have your whole manifesto of your life and who you are and have scoped you out on social media. After a first date, would that be something you would do?
Look for not that kind of research.
Not look for a mugshot, but just do
that kind of research.
Yeah.
After a first date, probably not.
I think I would.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I would. And even the mugshot wouldn't be a deal breaker, considering how hot she is. I mean, we can work around a lot of things for a month.
What's the number she got to be? Like at least a 9? Or would you go down to a 7?
Yeah.
7 with mugshot.
Let's see how desperate I am that month. It could be a 3.
You got to be at least an 8 for with a mugshot. Yeah, I need 8.
He's got higher standards than I am.
For sure.
Well, Lexi, clarify, what was the mugshot for?
Okay. Well, before you judge, I just want to mention that it was a college prank that went wrong.
Oh.
So, yeah. Well, okay. So it just, a few friends and I may have tried to like borrow one of those life-size cardboard cutouts of Ryan Gosling
Okay.
from a movie theater lobby because obviously we needed him at our dorm party.
Duh.
So security did not find it as funny as we did, and long story short, I spent a few hours in a holding cell. In a holding cell. No, but there weren't any charges that stuck. Just the evidence lives on in a very weird, unflattering booking photo.
So if I'm dating you and it's a first date and I see a mugshot like that and I do the research on it and find out that's the reason why, I'm more turned on than anything else. I think it's hilarious.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's not going to say in the research that stole a Ryan Gosling cardboard cutout. It's going to say
Doesn't
like
it say what
theft.
you're arrested for?
It'll say theft, but it's not going to give the details.
I think you'd have to do the research to find out exactly why, and there are very few guys that would want to dig that deep.
I think they should have let you take the Ryan Gosling cardboard cutout and put it in the mugshot with you. I feel like if the cops had any kind of sense of humor, come on.
Fantastic.
All right, so you think he found this mugshot and that's why you didn't get a call back?
I'm thinking, yeah, because what if he thinks I'm some kind of criminal mastermind? Or, maybe there's another reason for the ghosting, but I just want answers. So if it's the mugshot, I would just love the chance to explain to him what happened. Hopefully he hears the story. He might be up for another date.
Okay, so we've already done the homework for you, and we have reached out to the guy to find out exactly why there was no second date, and he responded back. So we got answers for you, okay? You're really going to let one mugshot, one misdemeanor keep you from what could be the woman of your dreams? Really?
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
Or in this case, maybe 1,000 days in jail.
It's just a misdemeanor. Lexi goes out with this dude, and they have a great time. Chemistry's right. No lulls in the conversation. She's feeling him. He's like, okay, can't wait to go out with you again. And then she never hears from him again. And she was telling us a couple of minutes ago, she has a feeling he did a deep dive, and she has a misdemeanor in her past. She has a mugshot online.
Oh, no. Kidnapping Ryan Gosling? That's a full-fledged felony, friend.
Well, we should probably explain that because it's not the real Ryan Gosling.
It was a cardboard cutout at a movie theater when she was in college because they wanted him from her dorm room. Security was a little perturbed, and they took it. They took it all the way to the jail.
So Lexi's hunch is that's the reason why he hasn't hit her back, and she wanted us to reach out to him to see if that's the truth. All right, Lexi, you ready for some results here for second date update?
I am.
Do your thing, Kristen.
So reached out to David about the date, and this is what I wrote. Hey, this is Kristen from The Bert Show. We recently heard from Lexi, who told us that she had an amazing first date with you. Great conversation, lots of laughs, even a promise of a second date. But then, radio silence.
Good joke.
Thanks. She hasn't heard from you since, and she's confused as to why when you said you'd reach out for a second date. She has a theory, though. Did you Google her and find the mugshot? Oh, no. If so, she wants you to know that it's not as bad as it looks. Turns out it was from a college prank where she and her friends borrowed a Ryan Gosling cardboard cutout from a movie theater. Security wasn't as amused as they were, and while no charges stuck, the internet never forgets.
Okay, can I just mention something here?
Yeah.
I think you made a mistake.
Why?
In your response to him.
Yeah.
In that he might not have done that at all, and now you are telling him that this is in her past.
But it's not a big deal.
Well, you don't know if he's going to interpret it as a big deal or not.
There.
The reason why I said it is because Lexi said if he did see the mugshot, she wanted to explain and tell him what had happened.
Right.
Because it's not a big deal.
But maybe he didn't, and you just exposed it.
Could have been something else. That's worse.
Okay, it's like you guys have a crystal ball, but let me get to it. Okay, security wasn't as amused as they were, and while no charges stuck, the internet never forgets. So we have to ask, was that what made you ghost her, or was there something else? No pressure, no judgment. We're just curious. If you're up for it, we'd love to hear your side of the story. Let us know. And it didn't take long for David to respond, Lexi. So we do have a definitive answer as to why he chose not to ask you out on a second date, okay?
Okay.
He responded, wow, ... I had no idea about a mugshot.
There it
I
is.
saw that coming.
But you can bet I'm Googling it now.
Oh, no.
But then he goes on to explain, Lexi and I did have a great time. She's funny, smart, and easy to talk to. The second date conversation? Yeah, that happened towards the end of dinner. But it also happened right before she pulled out a Ziploc bag and started scraping everything off the table into it.
What?
Butter packets, bread rolls, sugar packets.
Oh.
If it wasn't nailed down, it went into the bag. I was half expecting her to start pouring the salt shaker in there too. Look, I'm all for not wasting food, but I just sat there, stunned, watching her treat the restaurant like it was her personal grocery store. I suddenly had this vision of us going out again and me watching her fill her purse with napkins and ketchup packets like some kind of condiment bandit. And that's when I knew I just couldn't do it. So yeah, that's the real reason. But hey, tell her no hard feelings, and I'm off to find this mugshot.
What do you got? And now she's going to go to the mugshot and see it and say theft.
Stealing ketchup packets.
Right.
The only thing she didn't steal was his heart.
All right, so Lexi, is that an accurate description of the end of your all's first date?
I think he exaggerated a little bit. I mean, there may have been a bag and some condiments involved, but listen, these are hard times. So if he's not understanding that we just need a little ketchup at home sometimes, then I'm fine with that.
Talk your talk.
Okay.
Mo, really quick. Mo and Bert. Mo and Bert, you're on a first date.
Yes.
You're sitting there.
Yes.
You had a great time.
Yes.
Chemistry was off the charts.
Yes.
You were like, yeah, we should definitely do this again. And then right before you get up from your booth, you were same side boothing it, by the way. She reaches over you and starts taking all the sugar packets, all the remaining butter, like any kind of condiment, whatever is there on the table, pulls out a Ziploc bag and puts it in there and puts it in her purse without saying a word. You going on a second date?
Listen, if she fine enough, she could put me in the plastic bag. All right?
That's what I was saying.
Scoop me in, baby. It's all good.
We can share handcuffs.
There's a bigger offense than stealing that based on your scenario. If it's the first date and she wants to sit right next to me, you said we're same side.
Same side boothing it.
On a first date?
Yep.
No.
Oh, that's a bigger offense.
On a first date is wild.
That's a little too close.
Absolutely not. All right, Lexi. Well, at least you know, and I do think that Mo raises a really, really good point, though. Like, I'm trying to think, like, if I'm on a first date with the girl that I'm seeing now, Amanda, and everything is so great, I mean, she's fitting me perfect. At the end of the date, if she does that, I think it's a fun quirk. Like, it doesn't turn me off because everything else was just so good. So I'm curious, like, if he really was buying into it like that.
Abby, let's turn the tables.
A man does it?
Bye.
So rapper Nelly had a hot take on a podcast this week that got a lot of people to talking. And he was doing Drink Champs, a podcast with another rapper named Noriega. And they were asking him about like his life with dating Ashanti and his kids and how he handles his kids being a little older now. And he started to speak about how he has a bit of a different approach when it comes to how he allows his daughters to come home in a time of crisis and how he allows his sons to come home in a time of crisis. And he's standing on business in the fact that he feels like as a father, it should be a bit different.
I told my daughter, yeah, baby, don't worry about it. You can always come home. You always got a room. My son, he can come home, but he get the couch. Eventually, he got to get the out. He got to. He a man. You got to go. You can always come home, and sometimes it may not work out. I ain't knocking that because you got to get back up on your feet. You know what I'm saying? But just know this is temporary.
I thought this was interesting because I kind of feel like it's always been a thing, but I don't know if anybody's ever actually come out and said it. And I know in my house growing up, it was very much so like this. Like my dad, he may not have said the exact words, but he made it pretty clear to me that like once you go, that's it. There's no coming back. You got to figure it out. And with my sisters, it was always a lot different. It was always a lot more lenient, which is why I believe that I left the house 10 years before either of them did. Like I was going at 17 because I'm happy he did it. Like I don't want to sound like I'm bitter about it because I'm not. I feel like it actually helped me in the long run. And sometimes I wonder if maybe that wasn't the advantage to my sisters that he thought it was, because I don't know if they have the same grit that I have because they were always allowed to come back home and to be coddled in a way that I wasn't.
Well, I mean, let's just call out the obvious. It's totally unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, like just stating the obvious, it's totally unfair. And I feel like if mom is also involved, because it's not just the dad's decision. If you have like a 2-parent home, right? So you got mom and dad weighing in. And this mom over here is going to be like, no, whatever we're offering our daughters, we're also going to be offering our son. Like, I feel like you can still get grit and you can still be a somewhat safety net for your child. Like, you don't want to enable them. You don't want them to be, non-capable adults. But at the same time, you want to provide them a little bit of a safety net. And so whatever you're going to offer to your daughters, I feel like that should be extended to your sons as well.
It's totally unfair. But I also feel like the subconscious is that like life isn't totally fair in terms of safety for men versus women.
That is true.
Now, I'm coming from a household where like my brother was allowed to stay at home for a little bit. I was allowed to stay at home for a little bit. We were both expected to get out, but my parents weren't expecting us to live on the streets or whatever. But I think the subconscious decision, especially with fathers, is that life is more dangerous for women out in the world. Women are more vulnerable to crimes. And, I don't need to get into any of that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Whereas I feel like the subconscious thing is they see their sons and they're like, okay, well, you've just got to get out into the world and figure it out. Whereas I see my daughter as something that might need more protection than my son.
I mean, the stats are the stats when you look at crime rates versus men versus women, for sure. And I have like a prime example of that. Like, I remember when I was living Cincinnati on my own, the relationship had imploded that I moved there for. I was still working there, miserable, moved to a very, very sketch part of town in order to, afford rent in like this duplex area. I had a drug dealer on one floor. There was actually, I felt very safe because there were always cops outside at the UDF across the street. But I remember like my dad coming and like, Dad had visited at one point and he's like, I worried about you every single day you were there, and you have no idea how relieved I was when you finally moved out of there. And I don't think that would have been the same. He would have had the same conversation with my brother.
Here is listener Amanda. Good morning. You're part of the Bert Show. Hi.
Hey, I think this really involves, you have to take into account who your kids are. And my kids I have a freshman in high school and a senior in high school. My senior in high school, he's not allowed to come back after he leaves, except for very short periods of time. My freshman, if he comes back, he will help his dad in the yard. He will pay rent. He will do the dishes. Like, he's that kid. He's always welcome to come back.
If you can contribute, you can stay. Okay. I like that.
That's honest.
Thank you for calling. Appreciate it.
I would say, parents, let's unite. Misery loves company, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this is a mom thing more than it is a dad thing. So mothers, let us unite in our misery. That is the bittersweet moment. Your child turns a year older. My Jimmy Jam turns 4 on Saturday. Doesn't even seem remotely humanly possible that my little human is turning 4. But I have caught myself, not just this past week, not just this past 2 weeks, but the minute we stepped into March, I have been going back in my phone. I have been watching old videos and looking at old photos of when he was a teeny tiny little baby. I'm not kidding you. I have made myself cry on more than one occasion, reminiscing on when he was little, gearing up for his 4th birthday. So 1-855-BERT SHOW, 855-237-8746. This is basically an Am I Normal parent edition. Am I normal for looking at old videos and photos of my child leading up to their birthday, pretty much intentionally making myself sad?
I think this is pretty common. I don't know about doing it with the intent of crying, but I think it's pretty natural. First of all, your phone won't let you not reminisce as the day approaches.
On this day,
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah, and nobody asked you, bro.
Yeah, right. It just
Yeah.
starts flashing all these up. But I think it's very natural, like with every birthday where you go and you look at what they look like that right before, for
Oh
sure.
man, I've just it's been incessant. Just looking at these old videos. Like I found this old video of when he walked for the first time and Bart and I in his nursery, which now his big boy room, and him just stumbling towards me. And I'm like, how? When? You're 4. Now you have skid marks in your underwear. Like, when did this happen?
I learned it from you, Mom.
Have you done this every birthday, or is this the first time?
Every birthday, dude.
Every single one?
Every single birthday, I do this. And yes, the cliche is so true. The days are long, the years are short, and you just look back and it's like, do I want to go back there? I would like to go back there for a day. Like I would like to experience those little cuddles and those moments. Like, oh my God, we were sitting in the playroom on the floor and he was learning how to use this toy for the first time, and that big old gummy smile with no teeth in it. And I'm just like, oh, where did that precious little nugget go? And now I look at him and I couldn't be more proud. It's like this weird bittersweet feeling that I never anticipated. Like, no, this is not something that's like in the parent handbook, because there isn't one that you get to let you know, oh, by the way, every year your child gets older, you're happy, but you're also insanely sad that they're leaving that chapter behind, and you will purposely go out and seek out photos and videos of said child to make yourself just so incredibly sad.
So what are you going to miss about year 3?
What am I going to miss about year 3? That's a great question. I think I'm not going to miss the potty training. That was a freaking nightmare. I know that. I can say that like out the bat.
How about the temper tantrums?
No.
The meltdowns when there's a leaf going down the street and and he hates it.
We didn't deal with terrible 2s, but we definitely had a 3-nager on our hand. I don't think it's anything specific, Abby, about the age. It's just knowing that the 3s are behind us, and now like he's going to be obsessed with the number 4. So at night I read him one book. I sing him 3 songs. He gets 3 cuddles, and then he goes to bed. So they get hyper fixated on certain things. And so it's just knowing that's why we got him 3 fish for Christmas, you know? So,
Ooh, that 13, 14 years, they're going to be tough for you.
Well, based on what's happening in that fish tank, they're not going to make the 30.
no, absolutely not. So it's little stuff like that. And it's so crazy how at this age they change so much in such a short period of time. So it's just so crazy that he's going to be 4.
Rainey, good morning. Are you as psycho as Kristen, or is this normal?
Oh, yeah. No, my daughter's turning 11 months today, so she'll be 1 Easter Saturday. So the Easter Bunny will be at her birthday party.
Score.
And I am just been crying because she can walk now, and she's a really fast crawler. And I remember when she was my sack of potatoes that couldn't lift her head. And I'm just like, I don't want you to keep learning. Especially when she started walking, I was just like, should I push you down? Like, I don't know.
I could just get like a hip checker real quick.
Here's Megan that went through the exact same thing just yesterday. Hey, Megan.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I do this all the time. I was just doing this yesterday with my daughter. She will be 8 this year. I also have a son. He'll be 5. And it's just amazing because we have all these memories on Facebook and our phones from when they were babies. And so we get to show them, like, hey, this is you when you were a baby. And it does get very emotional because they're very different now.
Yes.
than when they were babies, you know.
Yeah, thank you for calling. And here's Mary to tell you that this isn't going away anytime soon. Hey, Mary, thanks for taking time out of your day and calling.
Hi. I love you guys. Listen to you every morning.
Thank
Love you too.
I was just telling Rebecca that my son's birthday's on the 22nd as well, and he's turning 16, and now this is my 3rd one. And for him, it's my hardest because I think I know when he goes to college, we're getting ready for college visits. So I know when I'm going to be an empty nester. So for me, this is a really hard one for me. My daughter is actually at SCAD with Hayden.
Oh, is that right?
She graduates this year with him. But so to see him getting ready to go to college and everything, look, I've been this whole year stepping into 2025. It's been a hard, but
I can hear the wobble in your voice.
Yeah. I'm like,
yes.
Mary, I'm over here crying for you.
It is. It's especially, like he's my older two are my two daughters, and then he's my little, like
He's your baby boy.
Something else. He's done. Yeah, he's my baby boy, and just to know in 2 years he's going to be going to college and stuff, which that's what I've raised him to do, but it's exciting and it's sad all at the same time.
Exactly. It doesn't make it easy.
And she's telling you it's not going away anytime soon at all.
I'm glad to know that here in 12 years, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing when my son turns 16.
All right, Katie, some problems here. Woman tried to ruin your relationship.
Yes, she did. And it all has to do with the St. Patty's Shenanigans Showdown.
Still the ripple effect of this thing over the weekend.
Yes, when the youth group, we all went down to Savannah to have a good old time. And on this particular day, I decided I need a drink. I need to go hard. Because the first night, I really didn't. I kept it easy. I kept it chill. But I was like, the second night, guys, be prepared. I'm getting lit. And so while we were on like River Street, which is, to me, the way I describe it, it's like a mini version of Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Yeah, right.
Or Broadway in Nashville.
Yes. And so I end up walking up to a bar to grab a drink. And one thing about me is when I start drinking, I get friendly. Mm-hmm. I'm going to socialize with just about everybody.
Dude, you've walked out of bars and made out with people.
Yep, sure have.
I've seen it.
A couple times.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into my own little bag of shenanigans. So I happen to be in line, and there's this group of women who come up behind me, and they're all excited and cheering, and I start talking to them. And one of the women in the group, she was celebrating her birthday, and I found out like our birthdays were like 2 days apart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Now, I'm going to need Rebecca to come in on a little bit of this because somehow I don't know how we got on the part of telling her about the Shenanigans Showdown, but we told her some things.
Okay, so Katie says this woman was friendly. This woman was feral, and she was feral for Katie.
Okay.
I have never seen a woman want someone so badly. So we're like standing in line, like commiserating over how long it takes to like get drinks. Because once you're on River Street, it's like everything's so packed. And I think they were just like asking like how our time was, like what we were doing down there. And we talked, we're on a morning radio show. We're like, we've got these shenanigans we have to do. But as soon as she heard make out with a stranger, this lady's ears pricked up because she was like, oh, I think I got that for you.
And
Just happen to have a set of lips.
the whole time, Rebecca has recorded this.
Right. Yeah, so Katie, if you didn't get that make out with a stranger off the checklist.
She made an offer, y'all.
What'd she say?
That if you don't get the make out with a stranger off the checklist after 2 more shots, I'm open for it. And so I'm just like, it's this moment of nervous laugh, like, no. And I just like grab my drink and stuff, and then she buys me a shot.
At what point did you tell her, I got a girlfriend?
I didn't. I just got a shot.
Oh. She's a woman in business.
It's like, I just didn't know what to do. It's like the first time I freeze, and I'm like, okay, good. Cheers.
You were safer at the strip club with your girlfriend. Really didn't want you to go to.
No, she was cool with that.
Oh, no, it was the tattoo.
Yeah, it was a
That's
tattoo.
right.
It was a tattoo. But I was like, nope, I backed out. And then Rebecca witnessed me do the worst thing ever right after she bought me that shot.
Yeah, if her girlfriend's listening, it's totally cool because Katie rejected her mind, body, spirit. She threw up that shot immediately.
Did you really? You couldn't hold it down.
No, that's when I got in the Uber and I threw it up.
That was the spirit of your girlfriend acting.
Absolutely, it was.
Exactly.
That was the devil. That was the devil. So I was going to talk about this on Friday, but based on the conversation that Mikey and I just had before they do Stank Tank here, I just got, there's good news and bad news to is it Saturday night? Friday night.
Yeah.
Friday night. So I told you guys a couple hours ago, my oldest son, 23 years old, just went through his first breakup, man. Really, really sucks. Going through a tough time. But before that happened, his girlfriend was planning on coming to Atlanta. They are both huge Tyler, the Creator fans. Huge. So I got him tickets. look, she's going to be out here. You guys go have a great time. So
Look at you helping your boy.
I got him tickets to the show. I'm a good wingman.
Yeah.
And she was going to be here for a whole weekend. So I'm like, you guys go have a great time. Well, they have broken up. So he has been asking his friends if they want to go to Tyler, and they are all busy on Friday night. So he asked me to go.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'm like,
it's kind of sad you weren't the first choice that you got on the tickets.
Not at all. I wouldn't expect to be. Not at all.
I would.
No, not necessarily. Go with your friends, man.
Yeah, nah.
Plus, going with your dad. So that would be the last thing I would have ever asked. So the fact that he did, that I was somewhere on the list, even out of desperation, that I was somewhere on the list that he still wants to hang out, that was kind of cool. Until I just found out that it takes a little bit more effort to go to this concert than I had known.
Yeah, I've just received word that this is a fit off, which is a new term for me. But it basically means you got to get dressed up all crazy. And
what is all
to go
crazy?
to Tyler the Creator shows?
Yeah, I think you got to wear your nicest white shoe. I honestly don't know the definition of fit off, but I assume it's pretty colorful and it's probably clothes I don't own.
I would imagine fit off just means wear your best fit.
I think
put
so.
your best foot forward.
Yeah, I don't have any of that.
Just wear your
Me neither.
Yeah, just wear your best Waylon Jennings tee and clean up your jeans.
Iron it a little bit. You'll be all right.
So, and you're going with the station because the station's going to be there?
Well,
You're taking
I just got some tickets through the station. My girlfriend's little sister loves them, and she's pretty mean, so I'm getting some points out of her.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, Mo, when he asked me to go, I think one of my first questions was, why me? And he didn't say, because you're the only one that's available, but he said, well, you've gone to Kendrick Lamar with Mo before, so you've kind of, and you kind of know about hip hop. So I'm like, yeah, I've been to the show, but yeah, I'll go with you.
I mean, yeah, you did well at Kendrick. I don't think you have to do anything more than just go and enjoy yourself. But do you know anything that Tyler has created? You know anything at all?
I think I need a crash course.
Okay, we got you.
So for me, it's just going to hang out with my kid with something that he likes to do, but I should probably know the music before.
I think it would help a little bit to know a song or two.
But I'm not getting in dressed up any more than I am right now.
Yeah, I also need a crash course if I can be a part of that.
All right, it is Stank Tank time. Jackson, what is Stank Tank?
All right, so Stank Tank is our spinoff of the hit show Shark Tank, which, as you know, people come in and pitch their genius, brilliant business ideas to a bunch of investors, and the sharks who are on the show are generally billionaires, and they decide whether or not to invest in said companies. For our terrible version of this, we call it Stank Tank, and that's where Mikey and I sit down and we think of what is one of the biggest problems in this world today, and how can we solve it with something absurd. And we will pitch you guys our brilliant or not so brilliant ideas, and after both of us have presented, you will all let us know as the Stanks who you are investing in.
I'm so honored to be called a Stank.
I've never been more honored.
Thank you.
So this week we're going through, we're solving anything that has to do with the kitchen, food, cooking, anything like that. We left it pretty open-ended to let the creativity flow, okay?
All right.
And this week I will be the one that's going first. Stanks. Sometimes I lay awake in bed realizing that we were born too late to explore Earth and born too early to explore the cosmos, but born just in time for snack and sniff. Stinks. Snack and sniff. Snack and sniff.
Snack and sniff.
Snack and sniff.
Instead of scratch and sniff.
There you go, Kristen. Now we're thinking, okay?
And sniff.
All right.
All right, Stanks. I am seeking an investment of 1 out of 2 of Abby's cats in exchange for 70% of the company, Snack and Sniff. Research suggests that 80 to 90% of your taste is actually smell, so why not turn any food into the foods you love? Make your tuna smell like bacon. Make your broccoli smell like Pop-Tarts. Tell your beets that they can beat it while you turn your radish into some rad-ish.
You did it.
Yeah, man, come back now. I'm picking Mikey. You ain't gotta go.
That pained me more than you could possibly imagine. Are you on a terrible diet? Well, with Snack and Sniff, you can turn that awful dish into something delish. The Rolling Stones magazine calls it, quote, Ozempic's worst nightmare. Are you the coworker nobody likes who microwaves salmon at the office? Well, terrible behavior be gone, because now you can have the office smelling like brownies instead of my ex-girlfriend.
Hey, yo.
Turn that frown upside down.
Yeah, like.
Turn that frown upside down and lift that nasty frosty whiff to a delectable sniff with Snack and Sniff. Don't just show and tell, show and smell with Snack and Sniff.
Jackson,
Yes.
how does this work?
So it's like a spray. It's an aerosol.
Okay.
And it comes in all different varieties of scents, okay? So you got your bacon, your Pop-Tart, what have you, your delicious smells. You spray it on your food of choice. And when you eat it, it changes the flavor because, like I said, research suggests 80 to 90% of your smell, of your taste, comes from your smell.
I don't buy it.
I feel like he wasn't prepared to answer that question.
That was my filibuster.
Mikey, it's right there. It's right there. The investment is right there, man.
Okay, so I actually didn't come up with an idea this week. My friend.
It's still better than Jack. We're investing in nothing.
This week, it's actually going to be my friend Claude on God who has a product for you.
Okay.
Yo, what up, Stanks? It's Claude on God, and I got something of an investment opportunity for your mug. I am seeking a couple of fat stacks in exchange for a bottle service for life at the club I open after I get rich and famous. It'll be called Mama Duke's Biscuit Barn for the blonde and blind, but that's a different product. Today, we talking ish in the kitsch. That's right, issues in the kitsch we in.
That is so bad.
Are you high? Is it time for a drug test? You are high right now.
Why are you wearing the glasses?
If you like me, you hate doing dishes, man. But if your girl cooks, you do the dishes. That's equality, you mans. Equal rights, equal end of nights. The worst thing about doing dishes is when that water pressure too high and you rinse in a spoon or a plate and that mug ricochets and hits you right in the people peepers and the baby makers. That's your eyes and your groins. That's why I've invented the splash zone, the sink you step into.
Is that called a bathtub?
Wait, what?
It's called a shower.
I think that's been invented, buddy.
It's called a shower.
To put it into layman's terms, it's a shower for your kitchen. Simply finish your chow mein or mashed potatoes or whatever, derobe yourself, and then step into the splash zone. Inside the splash zone, you will find your classic shower head along with a jet blaster pointed at your chest. Hold your plate up to the trademark Splash Zone Jet Master Blaster, and your plate will be spiff in a jiff. That's spiffy in a jiffy. It also comes with a built-in plate, utensil, shampoo, and toothbrush holder, allowing for you to complete your whole nighttime routine from the comfort of your splash zone. This will save you minutes every night.
Minutes.
Also, if you call now, we can install the trademark Splash Zone toilet for one more fat stack. The Splash Zone. Start showering with your dishes now.
Before I decide who I'm going to invest in, I think I need to know if I'm offended by the accent. What was that supposed to be?
No, that's Claude on God.
Oh, okay.
It's Claude.
And I guess he's on God.
It's on God.
Okay.
Okay.
I would very much like not to be part of this narrative.
I am still giving you the cash today, Mikey. Over Jackson.
That's Claude on God.
You're going to choose what is it called again?
Splash Zone.
Why are you choosing that?
So you're choosing the Splash Zone shower for your dishes over the spray that makes your stank salmon taste like brownies.
Because I think if he goes on TV at an infomercial like that, it's so ridiculous that it'll go viral and he'll make money.
He's like the new ShamWow guy.
Yes.
I'm going to be rich and famous.
Who you going with, Mo?
Give me Jackson. Give me Jackson.
Not so easy of a choice.
No, it was not. No.
There's no right answer. It's a lose-lose situation. Give me White Stevie Wonder.
White Stevie Wonder.
We're not really exactly sure what we just saw.
Claude on God.
I want to go home.
I'm right behind you.
Me too, man.
The old cliche is be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And Abby, out of temporary insanity over the weekend, asked people for their opinions.
That wasn't me. That was Patricia.
Oh, is that your drunk girl alter ego?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if she has a name, but she's there.
Mine's Becky.
Becky?
Yes, Becky.
Mine is like a nameless, faceless demon that comes out after 2 glasses of Sauvignon Blanc.
No, now she's Prosecco Patricia.
Prosecco Patricia came out on Saturday while I was at my cousin's baby gender reveal. And naturally, when my brother announces that he's getting engaged soon and everyone else in my family is having children and moving on with their lives, you're going to get a little drunk at the gender reveal at 2:00 in the afternoon. And so I recently got my hair cut, and by recently I got my hair cut on Friday, and I love my new salon in Atlanta. I refused to move on from the salon I went to in Jacksonville. I was terrified to leave her. She'd been doing my hair for like 3 years, and she was just consistent and lovely all the time. And then finally got to the point where we were looking at each other's schedules, and I was like, well, when can you fit me in next? And she's like, literally like 9 months from now. And I'm like, well, I can't leave Atlanta. So then I was forced to find a new place. And thank God I found a place that I love how they do my hair. Shout out Salon Lore. Y'all crush it every single time. But I did something a little bit different with my hair this time. I got bangs that are a little bit shorter, and we styled them to be more like bangy than they normally are.
Like I have curtain bangs.
Yeah, I usually get like a side bang situation. And this time I was like, you know what? It's hot girl summer. Like, give me the bang bangs. And they were cut a little bit shorter, and I felt like I had entered a new alter ego. I was like, I don't know who this girl is, but this girl looks fun. Like, this girl looks like she's down for a good time.
So you were feeling great about it.
I was feeling great about it.
You looked, I'm just trying to establish, you looked at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I like this cut. I like this look. I like the way I look right now.
I like it with the disclaimer of like, oh, I look different. Like, I like how I look, but it's different for sure. And
bangs can do that too. Guys are probably like, "It's what is it, bangs?" They can make a huge difference.
They can make a huge difference. And so while I was out on Saturday and I was, stuck with my thoughts while sitting alone at a table, watching everyone hug my cousin's new baby bump, and I'm sitting there with the caprese salad, being like, I'm all alone, I'm dying alone. That little voice in the back of my head goes, I wonder if other people like my bangs.
I need some validation right now.
Admittedly, if I'm going to be honest with you, and it wasn't from a place of validation, I follow this one influencer who goes to bat for her bangs all the time. And I got to be honest with you, they don't look good.
They ain't banging?
The bangs ain't banging. But she always talks about how people say she needs to get rid of her bangs. And I'm one of those people that's not going to say anything to her. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, you're a cute girl, but those bangs look terrible on you. And so that little voice in the back of my head, this little
so you think people judging you because you judge?
I was sitting there. I was like, I wonder if people are saying about me what I say in the back of my head about this girl. So after my second glass of Prosecco, I was like, you know what? I'm just drunk enough to handle the criticism while I'm handling the drinks.
Said no drunk person ever.
Said no drunk person ever, except for me. So I took a selfie, looking cute in my Hill House dress with my little glass of Prosecco. Beautiful day in Florida, and I posted it. I said, hey, I'm a little drunk. I can handle some criticism right now. What do we think of the bangs?
Oh, boy. So you gave them license. I mean, this was ultra green light.
Oh, I could have said it about anything. I could have said, give me criticism on my dress. Give me criticism on the last but literally anything.
The dress was real cute, by the way.
The dress was really cute. Actually, I take that back. They wouldn't have criticized that dress. That was a banging outfit. Anyway, but really, if you ask anybody at any time for criticism, they're going to say something. Could have been about anything. It's not necessarily just about the bangs. But I was like, you know what? Just let me know. What do you guys think? Should I keep the bangs or not? And that opened the floodgates of all the people who were like, no, don't do it. Grow them out. They're like, that's not your look. And I'm like, oh, wait, I thought this was kind of like a fun new look. And some of the DMs that I got, you know when someone roasts you and it's such a good roast that you can't even be mad about it because you're like, that was pretty clever, Sandra from Cumming, Georgia.
You did invite this in though. So
yeah.
I'm having a hard time really feeling bad for you, and I haven't even heard these yet.
I'm not even asking for sympathy. I'm just sharing something that I went through on Saturday. I'm a victim of my own chaos. And this is some of the things they said.
Save that.
Somebody said, I didn't know you were starting a new career as a human windshield wiper.
Damn.
Okay, now, I mean,
you feel bad for me now?
You didn't really invite that in.
Is it just me, or do your bangs look like they've been through a bad breakup? These bangs are giving I'm hiding from my responsibilities energy. And your bangs look like they've been through more plot twists than a soap opera. And so then I was like, you know what? You guys are haters. I like them. I will be continuing to get them because I feel like they're like my sexy, mysterious alter ego when they're styled. Right now they're kind of pushed to the side, but when they're styled like actual bangs, I feel like I give off, like siren energy,
Siren energy? I'm not you are giving Patricia. I'm
not going to break up somebody's home, but I might think about it.
So here's where I want to get in your head.
You're
for
giving
just
those
a
bangs
second.
so much power.
Yes.
Listen, I love the way they cut my hair makes me feel like a different person.
That's all that matters.
But if you liked it, right? You looked at it, you were feeling yourself, you liked it. Why even ask the question?
It's the alcohol, Bert. It's the alcohol.
All right.
Blame it on the
It was like
alcohol.
It's an intrusive thought that comes out, and then you ask it on social media.
Maybe you should schedule it like for another couple of hours or the next day. And then when you're thinking more in a sober way, you delete it before it actually goes out.
That's what a smart person would do, Bert. But I don't know if you know this, but alcohol shuts down that part of your brain.
It absolutely
too
does.
well, I know it.
Yeah.
Patricia's not smart.
Patricia didn't go to an Ivy League school. She went to the University of Alabama.
All right, Kaylee, so your 12-year-old is growing up way too fast and you don't know how to pump the brakes on it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting almost as tall as me.
Yeah, man.
He's just non-stop growing.
I've been watching the videos your wife is posting of all your kids, man. Athletes, aggressive athletes.
They're doing really well. And he's now, because he's just these growth spurts. So when baseball started, the power that he's got now he's like out of that gangly. I mean, he's still skinny. I mean, and he's cut, but he's like getting to know his like new body essentially. And I mean, his speed, you're like, who is this kid? Like, where did he come from? Now, that being said, he's starting to try to really push the boundaries of these newfound freedoms that we kind of start to, let him do.
Like which ones?
Well, just like what he can watch. Obviously, I'm not putting as much of a regulator on that because, like I let him watch Squid Games and he like goes down to the basement and he like binges those series.
How old is he again?
12.
Okay.
But he knows it's not.
Yeah.
He knows the difference between doing something like that.
No. Of course, but like Squid Games is that's intense.
I would rather him watch people getting their head blown off than watch a sex scene.
Okay. Noted.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, because that's just I don't know. It's more awkward to me.
It's a very American way of thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, so he pushed some boundaries the other day by walking to Publix, which there's really no safe path to get
by himself.
No, with a group of his friends. Like he didn't do it.
I remember the first time I was allowed to walk somewhere by myself, and it's a big deal.
Well, and he told me that they were thinking about doing it and days before, and I didn't necessarily say no. Because I wanted to see, because he probably would do it anyway.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with my kid when he was 12, 13 years old, as long as they were together, like in a group, walking, whatever it was, quarter of a mile, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's that far. It's just there's really... Atlanta Highway here is just kind of it could be people are speeding and it's anyway but I try not to overthink it because I think he's responsible. The other night him and his friends wanted to watch the eclipse. I think that was this past weekend or something.
It was a full moon.
Yeah, or something like whatever it was. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I didn't see it. Well, they wanted to camp out in his friend's backyard, which that led me to believe, well, okay, you're camping out in the backyard. Are you going to stay on property?
No.
Now, at 12 years old, I wouldn't be on property. I don't even know where. We would be exploring.
Right.
Which, and when I was more probably of a punk kid than him. So I was probably doing some things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. Vandalizing, things like that. Criminal type behavior. But it's like, and Aaron and I are looking at each other like, was he going to stay on the property? But those were some of the funnest times that I can almost remember, like with your boys,
For sure.
And at about 1 a.m., we get a text message. So the kid's house he was staying at was across this like gulch. It's like this river, this huge creek to another neighbor's house that's at the other end of the neighborhood. And we know those people. And I guess the mom heard these kids being very loud and obnoxious at like 1 a.m. And so she has to yell across the creek. And she thought it was the high school kids that were next door to where my son was staying. And she goes, "Hey, guys, can you keep it down?" And their response was, "You want to come to our booby party?"
What?
All right.
Okay. What's a booby party?
They didn't use those words.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But
still.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that changes much.
They use the T word?
Yes.
Okay.
But and
That's such a like preteen thing to yell.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, what is a strip club?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Essentially.
No, that's a shoe show.
I'm just going to rebrand it.
Yeah. And so Aaron and I, I was just wondering how you dealt with that, with certain things, because it's like, now I don't know if they went off property, but I'm sure they did.
Well, I would have more of a problem with the disrespectful response than I would.
We talked to him
going
about
out of it. Was he the one that said it, or was somebody else?
No, it was his friend.
Yeah.
But the mom who texted us thought it was the funniest thing. But she didn't let them know that. She actually didn't even respond to the statement.
So I feel like I know where you're coming. And Hollis and I had, I've never had to worry about Hayden. He's so within the lines, man. He's terrified to do anything wrong. So much so that there was a secret wish inside of me, like when he was in high school, he would get into some small trouble just so we had some memories, right? Hollis, not a problem. Him finding problems or trouble is not a problem. But we discussed this a while ago, and I want him to have a good time. And I said to him, yellow cards, using language he understands as a soccer player, yellow cards are okay. Red cards are what we're avoiding. So if he's going out and he's creating some kind of mischief and they're having a good time, but it's a little bit out of bounds, I'm pretty liberal about that kind of stuff. It doesn't sound like they did anything dangerous here, depending on how fast that river was. So long as they're not doing anything dangerous, I tell them, go and have a good time. And just if you're going to get yellow cards, but red cards, man, like a DUI, that's a red card. Impregnating somebody, that's a double red. So I have sort of given him more freedom, and Stacy and I have had the philosophy that give them the freedom and then
pull it back
if they need to.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if that's a philosophy you want to go with, but it seemed to have worked pretty well, and he hasn't gotten any red cards.
Well, that's good.
But a bunch of yellows. A whole bunch of yellows.
The Bert Show.